and see what I've got going on, what I've got open to close everything down that I'm not using. So, but we're going live right now, and I told you about what happened to me the other day about Facebook. But I believe I just got a letter from Facebook saying that okay, so now this is not working right. Give me a second, guys.
I'm gonna have to leave soon anyway, but go for it.
Okay,
Way
it's
past
working
my
now.
bedtime.
That's working now. Very good. All right. Hey, we're welcome. We're live. It's our 209th meeting, 209. And today, what's today's date? The 25th of May. So
22nd.
welcome, everybody. Oh, it's 22nd. 22nd. I really got you confused if you were watching this and you say, 25th, it's not the 25th yet. Oh, well,
Thinking
that's the way
ahead
it
with
goes.
friends. Yes.
Thinking ahead with friends.
What's the date? What's the date where you are, Wayne?
23rd.
Yes,
Yeah,
23rd here as well. Yep.
I've got a fair
Where are
delay
you,
going.
Ken?
I've got a fair delay going on then.
Well, where are you, Ken?
Sorry?
Where's Ken?
I'm in England.
Ah,
Yeah.
So tell us about your schedule. So you got the first show is when? Tonight when you wake up?
Yeah, tonight when I wake up, no, tomorrow morning when I wake up. Yeah, that's why I need to go to sleep soon. But yeah, it's like today. It's now early morning, Thursday morning, and our first show is Thursday. Then we'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then we'll have Sunday off, and then we'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll have Thursday off, and we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. Anyway, it's hopefully going to be good. We did one show in Manchester already at this new venue, the Co-op Arena. And that show was great. It was about 20,000 people there, and they all loved the show, and it was fantastic. And we had the best sound system ever, D&B KSL and V system, and it sounded marvelous and covered the room really well. It was fantastic. I just really had a good time. The system at the Palladium is not going to be quite as good, but it'll be what it'll be.
But he's doing how many days? Is it Barry Manilow? How many days is he doing?
I think it's 14 shows over 3 weeks or so. Maybe not 3 weeks, but 2.5 weeks,
Yeah.
14 shows.
Yeah, there's not too many artists that could do what he does, especially at his age. Although Mick Jagger, Kurt's not in the room right now. Kurt went to see the Stones, and he says Mick was all over the stage running like crazy, like he was still a kid.
81 years old. Yep.
And
yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but these guys like Manilow and the Stones, I mean, everybody in the audience sings every song with the guy, right?
Pretty much. Yep. It's pretty crazy.
Does that cause you any grief, or does it make it more difficult to mix a show when the audience is louder than the performer?
Well, that's the idea, is you can't let the audience be louder then, because you will have to encourage them to sing along. So the sound of the performer has to be louder. My opinion is the sound of the performer has to be louder than anybody's internal voice, so that they can sing along and still hear them. So I sing along and make sure it's working.
Yeah.
I went to the Jacob Collier concert Monday at the Greek in Los Angeles, and I was with Curtis, my friend who plays guitar. We were the two closest people. I paid for pit tickets with the sound check. We were literally at the barrier, 2 feet away from him. It was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And the same kind of rig you just talked about. They had a whole bunch of D&B. They had like 6.
Yeah, that's Schubert's V system at the Greek. Yeah. They have an
really
SPL limit there, so it's but the Greek tends to be a very good sounding place. So I'll tell you a quick story about the Greek. I was there with Chris Isaak many years ago, way before the V system was installed. There was some kind of sound system though, some kind of nice sound system from Schubert, and I had always heard that Chris Isaak's manager was a real stickler for perfection. His manager is the same manager as the Rolling Stones and other big name artists. And so I thought, well, I wonder if I'll ever meet this guy. His name is Howard Kaufman. And so I'm mixing the show at the Greek, and some guy comes up behind me and never said a word to me, but somebody told me later, yeah, that was Howard. If he wasn't happy with the sound, he would have told you. And I was like, oh, good. So I passed the audition, so to speak. But then I go out to the bus, and I'm sitting on the bus. And this is a long time ago. I'm sitting on the bus, and some beautiful girl comes into the bus and sits down right next to me and said, "Oh yeah, well, they're all talking about the sound in the dressing room." I was like, "What? They're talking about what? The sound? Yeah, how great the show sounded. It was so amazing." I was like, wait, this beautiful chick is talking about how great the show sounded, and she's saying that the people in the dressing room were talking about that. This is like blowing my mind here. And then I just said, well, that was me. That's what I did, and that was the end of the conversation. But it was just like a moment, It was a moment.
Too bad.
Well, it's good. It's good to be rewarded like that. That's all I could say. And
Yeah, I felt really good that
you get
Howard
rewarded all the
Kaufman
time.
didn't.
But
Kaufman
talking
did
about
not-
singing
did-
with
did not
the
give me
audience, Jacob, as part of his concert, always gets audience involvement with singing, but it was beyond spectacular. I mean, he divides, generally the audience into three parts and has them sing 3 and 4-part harmonies. I mean, it was mind blowing. It was just simply mind blowing. I haven't even processed it yet. It was that crazy. And then they had a bunch of guests like John Legend and other people come up and sing, and it was just a spectacular show. Really wild.
It's funny. You say that it sounds good. Yeah, Ken.
Sorry for my ignorance, but who is Jason Collier?
Yeah, it's not. So Jacob Collier has been on the scene for a number. He's very young. He's probably about 24 now. He won the Emmy for his a cappella version of the Flintstones. Sorry, not an Emmy, a Grammy.
Of the Flintstones,
of the Flintstones song. Yeah, so just look up Jacob Collier Flintstones and your mind will be blown. He regularly does 7-part harmony. And he's just an extraterrestrial. He's got perfect pitch. He's a multi-instrumentalist, but truly gifted. So his keyboard playing is just simply beyond belief. His bass playing is amazing. His guitar playing is amazing. His drumming is amazing. And his voice, I was talking to my drum educator today, and he said, oh yeah, Jacob Collier's the kind of guy that comes along once every 300 years.
That's the guy that he starts off his video with one either his voice
with
or
one
an
square and then adding
I've seen him. He's very, very good.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, just simply mind-blowing. And he had a Q&A. So we actually, I got earlier and they had a Q&A with him. And man, I'm 61. This guy's like in his early 20s. I mean, his maturity and his intellect at that age is just mind-boggling, just mind-blowing.
So it reminds me, what you're talking about, it reminds me of Charlie Puth. Have you heard of Charlie Puth?
Absolutely, sure.
He's another genius type musician type guy. But yeah, I'll have to look up Jacob Collier. How cool.
Yeah, he did the Flintstones thing, and then he's done 4 albums, and this is the 4th album, this particular tour, and that's kind of it. He's kind of wrapping up this concept, and then he's going to move on. And then he's apparently composing now for a show, which I think is probably going to be like a Broadway, which would lend itself very nicely to his skill set because he's such a gifted singer, and he's quite the comedian himself. When he's playing chords on the piano, he'll embellish slightly and give a funny look to the camera, which he knows is right on him, and the entire stadium laughed. I mean, he's really he's super engaging, and his talent is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, he's very, very good. I'll tell you, he's no Madonna though. I mean, he's absolutely no Madonna. Madonna, did you see this? 1.6 million people went to see her at Copacabana Beach for free. Now, I've been to the Rolling Stones. I've been to Lenny Kravitz on that beach. I've seen a couple of shows, but 1.6 million, that is off the hook amazing.
18 J arrays.
Wow. And Gabby Sound did the sound for sure. Gabby Sound, who does all the sound down in South America, he did that. He's got more sound equipment than anybody else in the world.
Yeah, I was actually wondering how they pulled it off, because I can post a photo, but I have an aerial shot of that show, and
It's
you can see
ginormous area.
Just J arrays every 60 feet.
Now, when you say J arrays, are you talking about D&B J series?
Oh, no. When I say just a J shape, a flown.
Oh, well, yeah, it's it's a big L acoustics gig. Yeah.
It's a J-shaped array, and I think they have, and there are like, I think it's 18 arrays. I mean, it's just was mind-blowing, the audio.
I posted Claire Brothers actually did it with Eighth Day Sound in conjunction with that company in South America.
Gabby Son. They have a relationship with Claire, but Gabby Son is the controlling interest.
I don't know who would ever have that much gear. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
And you want to hear something interesting about that? No matter how big they are, and they are huge, they're all over Europe now as well. Whenever you call the phone, Gabby answers the phone himself. He doesn't believe in having somebody answer the phone for him. You call up the main number, and he answers the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think I forwarded a thing from Claire on that. So if you on my Facebook about a week ago. So if you look me up on Facebook, you'll see that forward where Claire just, they acknowledged the team that did it and that kind of stuff. And
I saw that too. Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
So Jan, you said your Facebook got hacked, but if I go to your page on Facebook, it looks the same as I thought it should. No,
it does. I'm wondering if that's because it's in the queue. In other words, in your cache. I wonder if you refresh that page or destroy your cache, whether or not that does. But don't do it, because I might need some help from that. Either I got hacked or I violated their community standards. But I don't believe that I did either. However, we'll find out. So what happens is, when that happens to you, you have to validate that you're a real human being. So they want you to pick up your phone, and then you hold the phone to your face, and then they show you which way they want you to turn your head. So you're up, down, left, right, and then they say, okay, you've been validated as a real human being. We'll get back to you within 24 hours to see whether or not your appeal is valid or you're gone forever. So I'll know if we're going forever. So right now, this show is not streaming to Facebook. I have no longer any access to Messenger. And, hey, look, that's the way. I know plenty of people that are not on Facebook. Like I said earlier before we went live, is that it's not about me. It's more about, my friends and family who would like to know about me. So, but sometimes I'll get a notice from Facebook saying, that, you violated a copyright law. And I'll look at the post, and it's like, 5-6 years old. So we haven't done it, as you know. I haven't really done anything other than post this show and pictures of me and Bo, and Tina has been posting, sound equipment pictures on the Sound Broker Facebook page, which is also down right now. And the interesting thing about this is in the morning, I got an email from Facebook Meta, which is legit. I checked it out. That's saying that the Sound Broker page is doing well enough now. We're getting enough views on the Sound Broker page that they can monetize it. So they wanted me to fill out some forms. I filled out some forms, and then 20 minutes later, I was kicked off Facebook. So
that sounds awfully fishy.
Only Jan Landy is locked.
Say that again.
Your page, the only Jan Landy, is currently locked.
Yep, that's it. It's currently locked.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me access it on my computer. I was accessing it on my
and the Sound Broker. And I just checked the Sound Broker page. It looks normal.
Okay, that's good. but I don't have access to it. Tina, do you have access to it still?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay, well then, big deal for me. You, as long as the Sound Broker page is up, that's good enough for me. You know.
That's
But I
interesting.
can't log in.
Now, when I access your page on my computer, it shows up fine, but the most recent post is from somebody November 18th, 2023. And that's probably, like you said, it's probably a cache I'm looking at, right?
Yeah, probably so.
Because it's
So
not, it doesn't say anything about locked. How does it say locked on there, Chris?
I'm on. It's pretty simple. The URL is
Facebook.com/.
www.facebook.com/the only Jan Landy.
Oh, well, I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at Jan Landy, and it says Soundbroker shipping.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
another site we have.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even know what that is anymore. I think once we were blocked, so I started that one as well. But I don't remember.
see.
Or maybe that was just
So let's
shipping
see.
pictures.
What's funny about this
Oh,
one
I see. So
is
yeah, when I go to that one, it says this content isn't available right now.
That's it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
Wow.
what's funny about this is that the one that Kenny was looking at, I'm looking at also, and people are wishing you a happy birthday in November. All of these people are saying happy birthday, Jan.
That sounds fishy. That sounds fishy,
And
doesn't
it's
it?
November.
Well, no.
No.
The reason why it would be is because that's when Soundbroker officially started, November.
Oh, the birthday
Soundbroker
of
started in
Soundbroker, not
November of
you.
1997.
Yeah, Jan Landy, shipping sales services.
Yes, so they think it's Jan Landy's actual page, but it's for the shipping. It's not his personal page.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Anyway,
All right. Well, you know,
but who is it? We'll
yeah,
talk to
I'm
Greg.
gonna have to.
Is
I'm gonna
Greg
have to get
Baker
going
still
here.
in the
It's really
room?
late.
Hi,
Greg,
Jan.
didn't you
Nice to
tell
meet
Yes.
Greg, I don't
Enjoy.
Didn't you tell me last week that you got a request to join my join a page?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jan
and I
Landy
ignored
group.
it.
Yeah. So somebody probably hacked my account because I just got an email from them just like 10 minutes ago before we went online that somebody had requested a change of password, and it wasn't me.
Right.
Oh, that's awful when that happens. I got one of those on my credit card once, and sometimes I just throw that stuff out, and I'm like, well, I'll read it, and boy, was I glad I did. It's like somebody's just changed your password. If it's not you, click this. This is for my bank account, and so like muy rapido, man, I got on and stopped it and called the bank, but this guy, whoever it was this close. He had signed himself up for a credit card and added himself onto my business. And oh my goodness, I was literally
Two-factor authentication.
just an inch away from this guy being issued a Visa card with a hellacious limit on it and all of it. Oh man.
Don't you have your credit frozen?
No, this was I have a Chase Bank United business card. And so my kids have an account, so I have 3 cards, one for myself and one for each of my children. And there was a 4th card. This guy's like, Joey Romero. And Joey just
cousin Joey.
Yeah,
Cousin
well,
Joey,
Joey, sure.
Yeah.
So Joey signed himself up for a credit card, and nearly like the thing was like in the pipeline to be processed and sent out to him. And he could have destroyed my life with that card. I mean, well, I guess I'm insured with the bank, but yeah, it would have been catastrophic.
Well,
Yes, it would
that's
be
what
Sad
people-
story, but I gotta get going, you guys. But good seeing
Hey,
you, and I'll see.
have
Maybe
a
I'll see you
great
next
night's
week around the
sleep.
same time.
Right.
Have some great shows, Ken.
Have a great
Just
show, man.
remember,
one.
instead of looking
Thanks.
left to right, look right to left when you cross the street.
Exactly. That's
You
right.
know, so
Oh,
vice
yeah.
versa.
That's
And
next week.
and have some really great shows. We'll talk to you soon.
I love your wallpaper, Wayne. That is just fabulous.
It took me a while to find that. I found that on the internet. Oh, I thought that's a good picture.
Oh yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's a 2100 LFC driver. Yeah.
It's about 6 foot across.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of that scene. I think it was in Back to the Future when
Oh yeah, the big speaker.
yeah, when he has the big speaker and he like hits a chord and gets, ejected about 10 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. The back EMF from that speaker would give the amplifier something to think about, wouldn't it?
Well, not to, you think that's maybe not real. You can check it out. Who was it? The guy that runs Oracle.
Ellison.
Sorry?
Ellison.
Yeah, Larry Ellison turned a swimming pool into a subwoofer. You can Google it, and they've actually got like photos and a bit of the engineering behind it, but he actually made a swimming pool cavity into a subwoofer.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen a few of those where they've built under houses and made like long path length horn loading down to, just down to 30 hertz and that. Many, many years ago, apparently. They get keen, some of those fellows. I've seen some, whether they're real or not, some of the documentaries you see. I'm sure they are. They got photos and everything, so they but anyway, I found that one on the thing. There's another picture I've got where there's about and it's for research. I didn't properly read up what it was about, but there's about there must be at least 20 2482s or 41s, all mounted on horns. And I don't know what they were using the sound pressure level for. And there's 15s everywhere, just in this real confined space. And and the horns are the compression drivers are so close together. There's just massive amounts. I'll find the picture and see what it was. I might put it up next week.
Well, I have an idea, Wayne. Use artificial intelligence to figure it out, and then you can get back to us. By the way, are you guys following what's going on with artificial intelligence right now? This Chat GPT 4.0. Have you seen this thing? Have you seen the video?
The one where the voice was too similar to an actress and they had to change it?
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd listened to it. I mean, I thought it was very friendly and everything like that. I didn't think it was Scarlett Johansson, but evidently her friends and family did, and she stopped it. But basically, they unveiled the fictional voice assistant. So Breeze, Cove, Ember, Juniper, and Sky. And now the company behind them, the synthetic voices, they've got some criticism. So they say it's eerily similar to her. So basically, they're going to stop that. And but if you go up to YouTube and Google the new artificial intelligence, it's scary. It is absolutely scary because now they could use the camera to see and the microphone to hear. And so what they did was they had two phones next to each other, one with a camera on and one without the camera on. And they said to the one without the camera, all right, we're gonna introduce you to another Chat GPT that can see. You could ask him any questions, talk to him about what's going on in the room, and blew my mind. And then there's also one video out. There's one video, it's like 15, 20 minutes. It's really worth watching, where there's a kid and his father, and the father says to Chat GPT, I want to teach my son about the triangle and the geometry. I don't want you to give him the answer, but I want you to work him through it so he comes up with his own answer. It was mind-blowing. Who remembered that the longest point of a triangle is a hypothesis?
Hypotenuse, not the hypothesis.
Yeah, there it is. See, there you go. You're like Chat GPT right now.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
1/2 times, the surface 1/2 base times height, because it's half a square. It's always, triangles are just half of the square. So
yes, well, there you go, and that explains why nobody's ever called me a triangle. That's it.
Jan, you look very triangular today, I must say.
Yeah. I feel amazing today. I feel amazingly good today, even though there's trauma and tribulations and in my life. But what the hell? You only got one life to live. I might as well live it as a gray-haired man. That's all I could say.
Good for you, man.
It's kind of interesting. One of the things that Bo wants me to do is get a haircut like every 2 weeks. She feels like as long as my hair is short, I look younger. And I keep getting my ears lowered. Soon they're going to be down to my shoulders if I keep doing that. So.
Just shave your head. That's as short as it'll ever get. You'll look like a newborn.
I have had my head shaven, and I could tell you it's not a pretty picture. When I was in the military, when I was in the army, they shaved my head, and I could tell you I got a lot of indentations in my scalp. A lot of like almost a hole in my head.
When I went to my son's graduation at Marine boot camp, his hair was quite short.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's that's the way they do it, because they want everybody to lose their identity and become that of one. That's why everybody wears the same uniform, the same boots, the same, it's not like a soccer team. We have to wear the same jerseys, but you could wear different shoes and you could do anything you want with your hair. Not in the military.
No. And I can assure you, my son just left the Marine Corps, a couple of months ago, and I can assure you that it's quite the same as when you went through. The Marine Corps. I think the Army has been completely dusted. Forget the Navy, and they're coming for the Marines. But it is frightening what is happening inside the armed services. That's all I can say.
It's frightening what's happening everywhere right now. There's nothing more frightening than what's going on the planet right now. And the truth be told is that nobody knows what the truth is anymore. When you watch the news, you don't, if depending on where you're watching it, is depending on the take of the news that you're getting. And I heard Bill Maher say something very interesting about the news, where he doesn't want to watch the news anymore because it's just, pablum. That's all it is.
It
and
is.
Finally, the last story is about a bear in a swimming pool. Who cares about that stuff?
Yeah. Basically all news has become an opinion show. I can't name. I'm not going to say it, but I mean, the days of kind of a Walter Cronkite where you didn't even know what his political affiliation was, and they always showed you kind of two sides of an argument. That those days are gone, man. Everything has got its slant, and I agree. It's sad because in theory the press has a role to keep power in check, and they are failing miserably at doing that.
Yeah, and in some cities there's no more journalism in regards to the newspapers, because the newspapers have closed or they've started to be controlled by different factions, whether it be the right wing or the left wing.
Print journalism is kind of like, it's kind of like these brick and mortar stores, for the most part, it's gone. So, some of the majors will always be around for sure. But everybody's consumption of news now is, on one of these or, on a computer or on an iPad, and print is, I mean, my mother gets, she's 94, so she still gets print journalism. She reads the LA Times, and then she gets the New York Times, and she gets Barron's, because all she does is just sit around and read all day. But and even at 94, she's like, just wow, you should read the garbage that they're putting into the press these days. It's just unbelievable.
Well, if she has any stock tips, let me know, okay?
Well, yeah,
she's reading that much, but the interesting thing is that, is like, I read something today in the paper, or was I one of the places I like to get my news is the Drudge Report, because he's a consolidator of he's definitely consolidating from many, many different sources. So you get an idea of what's going on, and then you go and you watch CNN, NBC, Fox, whatever you're going to watch. I try to watch Fox News. I don't try to watch it at night, but I want to see what people are saying and try to put my own opinions together. But it's insane right now what's going on. I mean, an example is the, who's not talking about the Donald Trump trial right now in New York? And I couldn't believe it. It was like wall-to-wall coverage on every one of those cable news stations, and you would hear one thing from NBC, from CNBC, then another thing you would hear from MSNBC, and then you hear another take on it from CNN, and then you would have a completely different take on Fox News of what's going on. And the reality is nobody knows what the fuck is going on in this jury's mind until the jury comes back with a verdict. It's all there is to it.
The one that blew my mind, just blew my mind, is that the FBI had authorization to kill when they went into Mar-a-Lago. I mean, they have the actual, they've released the actual documents in the case.
It's a boilerplate. They have the option to kill every one of them.
Yeah, but
they didn't specifically. They didn't specifically.
Yes, they did.
Say this one. That's just a standard boilerplate.
Yes, they did. And no, it's not a boilerplate. That's what they're trying to tell everybody. And not only that, but they gave them plans of where to take the bodies or injured people to a trauma center. They actually had a map. And that was all part of it. You got to read the second part of it. And then there was an article saying, well, geez, what would have happened in the United States if Trump sent an FBI raid to Barack Obama's house with shoot to kill orders?
I would agree. It's crazy. I didn't hear that. But how many people got killed?
None. But the asymmetry, but the asymmetry is pretty startling.
Yeah. Well, I personally believe, in regards to this, that I don't know. I have no opinion on it whatsoever. But I would guess if they do that, I'm sure they do it not just with him, but with everybody. I mean, I'm sure that look.
That's what the press is trying to say in order to have this be a little more palatable for the public. But I've read some independent reports where you actually see the entire document dump that Cannon. That these basically came from the sealed documents in Trump's case in Florida, so they're quite official, and man, it's just horrifying.
If they're sealed, how are you getting to see them?
Because Judge Cannon unsealed them.
There you go. So here's an interesting thing. What if, and I'm just saying, what if that one of the reasons that they had to go in there and they wanted to get these documents back because it had some documents related to our nuclear secrets or our plans to attack another country. That would be reason that if somebody was going to hinder their access or they were armed, I'm just saying, if they were armed and they were preventing the FBI from going in, then they would have.
This is a different case. So the case was brought by NARA, which is the National Archives, in the first time in the history of NARA that they've ever had a NARA violation, and upon which the FBI built this case and got a search warrant. But the one thing you have to remember, the difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump was the president of the United States and therefore has the highest declassification authority that exists in the government.
Yes, but he didn't declassify it.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did declassify it. And then they turned around after he left and they juggled it up so that they could try to get it declassified.
Well, this is a perfect example of what we were talking about.
Exactly.
Perfect example of what we were talking about is that where you're getting your news from and how you digest the news is how you come away with it. So there are two sides. I heard this a long time ago. before we were, anywhere near this kind of age, like when I was about 20 years old, maybe I think I heard it for the first time. So that's years and years and years and years ago. And what I heard was there's three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. And there you go.
Right.
And that's where we stand. Your side, my side, and the truth.
I fully agree. And it's why it's such a classic case. And even the case that you brought up, where they're talking about the Stormy Daniels trial, where you just get these absolutely completely polar opposite interpretations of what happened. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. So what Bill Maher recommends, and I, of course, he's politically outspoken. What he recommends is you get your news from three different sources, and then you compile it yourself in your head. But then it's kind of like you're getting this information, you don't know what's real, and you don't know what's imagined. But and this is what we know for sure, that the mind can be fooled if you visually imagine something to the point where it becomes believable, then your mind believes it. And that's a fact.
And not only that, if you hear something repeated to you enough, you start to believe it, right? If somebody just keeps
it's
repeating
called brainwashing.
A truth to you, over time, and then all of a sudden, I've heard that so many times, it must be true.
Yeah, because what's happening right now is the news. Well, you mentioned Walter Cronkite. When Walter Cronkite was at his height, the news was a lost leader. It was just a lost leader. They didn't make any money on the news. Now the news is a profitable division, and it's got to be sensational. Because why would you care?
Yeah, hammer, meat, nail. I think you just hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Why would you care to watch the news if they were talking about the weather? Let's just say today was a beautiful sunny day in Arkansas. Who cares? Nobody, it was a great day. Yep. Mary and Bob went to the Five Park Amusement Center, and nothing happened. You wouldn't listen to that. And by the way, the kids today are getting most of their news from social media, which is TikTok, and that's not even being monitored by anybody other than possibly the Chinese government, if you believe that.
Oh yeah, no, it's again, you just nailed it, right? I mean, print journalism is on its way out. Everything's coming through on your feed, and then it depends on the bias of your feed, and which could be in any direction. It's just crazy.
And you know what else I heard? This is kind of interesting, is that the Gen Zers, I think it's the Gen Zers, might be the Gen Xers. I get confused between the X's and the Z's and the Y's. But one of these groups is living at home now, past 35. And they don't want to work.
I saw that. Yeah, I don't know what. I can't.
If
you asked me to define Gen Z or Gen X, I would be entirely incapable. I have no idea what that means.
Well, it's the millennials who are living at home.
I think I have it. So
millennials are people that were born around the change of the century mark. Is that
so they're 20 to 30 years old.
Okay. 20 to 30. Yeah. Okay. So we're in 2024, right? So they were born.
I think I have it. I think I have it. Let me see if I have it. I think. Okay, here it is. Ready? Tina, this is at the bottom of the notes from last week. I didn't think I sent you this week. But the silent generation is born from 1928 to 1945, and they are 78 to 95 years old. Baby boomers were born from 1946 to 1964, and they are between 59 and 77 years old.
So I'm Gen a boomer. Xers, I didn't even know.
Yeah. You're a what?
I'm a boomer. I didn't even know.
Oh, I thought you said you were a goober. Oh, wait a second. Wait. We'll come back to that. All right. Gen X's were born from 1965 to 1980, and they're between 43 and 58 years old. Millennials were born from 1981 to 1996, and they are 27 to 42. So, David, you're probably right about that. Then the Gen Zers are born from 1997 to 2012. And then the Generation Alpha, I never even heard that expression before. They were born from 2001 to 2025. So there you go. And they're about 10 years old. So, 2015. That's it.
Did you find
So
that on
there
the
you have it.
internet?
I
Did you
can
find that
send
on
this
the
to you.
internet? Yeah, put it in the
course.
chat.
Yeah, you just say, Tina, do you have the access to those notes?
Yes, I'm posting it.
Okay, yeah, it's at the bottom of the old notes. Yeah, I mean, I can't even. I just read it, and I don't even remember what it is. I know I'm a baby boomer. That's about it. You know, that's the best I could do for you. I can tell you I'm a
never
baby
knew
boomer.
that I was a baby boomer. So there you are.
Well, there you are.
I'm the first year of the baby boomers. 46.
I could have told you that you were a baby boomer because I could see your diapers. That's it. You know what? Oh, sorry. That's that's funny. Oh, even if I say so myself. So what else is on people's minds right now? It's amazing how fast time goes when we're together. And I know time is relative based on Einstein's theory of relativity, but the reality is that when you enjoy what you're doing, time seems to go by much faster. Don't you think?
Well, I just my youngest boy just turned 25, and that like blew my mind. I mean, just like, where did the time go? You know, it's so, and you know, as I get older, time just seems to whisk by in ways that I just, it's difficult for me to even process how fast. I mean, it feels like Christmas last summer was like, you know, a couple of days ago, Christmas was yesterday, and now we're back into summer again. I mean,
yeah, we're in the end of May. It just seems this year has gone by faster. But I think the older you get, the faster time seems to go. You know, but it's really going exactly at the same speed.
Yes, I hope so.
David and I had this conversation years ago. It seems like yesterday.
Otherwise, we're going to have to reprogram all of our Galileos for the SPL delay.
Yeah. So Fred, what are you up to today? What's your story today?
Yeah. I was at work most of the day making Cat5 cables, since they're going to shut off our wireless system at the Bureau of Land Management. Apparently somebody didn't pay their bill, and so now I'm going to have classes come in, and I'm going to have to hardwire all the computers. So I was sitting and making cables that are going to run to a switch today.
White with green, white with orange, brown, blue. Yeah, TIA 568A. Yeah, you gotta love that. Oh, you're using B.
I always use B. I never use A.
Oh, I use A, but that's fine. As long as you follow those patterns judiciously, it works. There are some people that make up their own patterns, and the send and receive are not twisted. And of course, the cables run fine for short lengths, but over long runs,
they don't do too well.
they don't do very well.
And then I dropped a thing in the chat there for you, Jen. The Alaska's waters are rusting.
Oh yeah, there's an interesting story about what's going on with the water. Is basically this glacier. I think it's in Alaska. And if the water underneath the glacier melts the glacier, then the water table across the world is going to raise by a certain amount of feet almost instantaneously.
Yep.
And right now is the rainy season.
There's these photographs of the rusty water running down these rivers. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they also have it like underneath the glacier. Let me see if I can find this story that I had. I don't remember what I did with it, but there is here it is. Ocean water is rushing miles underneath the Doomsday Glacier with a potential dire impact on sea level. CNN is reporting this, and it's kind of interesting. And I'll tell you, I'm loading it up right now. But from my remembrance of it, okay, I agree. Let's see. Ocean water is pushing miles beneath the Antarctic Doomsday Glacier, making it more vulnerable to melting than previously thought, according to a new research which used radar data from space to perform an X-ray of the crucial glacier. As the salty, relatively warm ocean water meets the ice, it's causing vigorous melting. And so then they say that if it does it's already caused 4% to global sea rise and holds enough to raise the water across the world by 2 feet. So that makes Las Vegas a possibility of becoming beachfront property. I love it.
Italy's going to be integral, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I think
says
Venice
that
is probably a place that risk there. Yeah.
Yeah. Scientists have estimated its complete if it just collapses, it's going to raise the water 10 feet. 10 feet across the world. Now, here's an interesting aside to that. Yesterday, in the newspaper here, they are now planning on moving the city of Bangkok away from the coastline. Just because what's happening, they get these heavy torrential rains and the streets get flooded. And so now they're saying, well, it's been getting worse and worse, so we better move the capital out of Bangkok. And they're looking for a new location to move the capital of Thailand.
Yeah, we'll see if all of those folks out in the Hamptons sell their houses or not.
Yeah. Well, what about those people on Fire Island, David?
It's like, when you see like North Carolina and you see the houses 16 feet up in the air so that the hurricane water can go underneath the house, that's what they're all going to have to do. Is for the bad storms, they got to raise the houses up.
Yeah, I saw those in the panhandle of Florida. It's really something else when you're driving down the road and all of the houses are,
Yeah, you can park a tractor trailer underneath them.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely stunning. I had never really seen that before until I drove the panhandle. I'm like, wow, that's crazy for the storm surge of hurricanes, I would imagine, and all that. But yeah, wild.
Yeah. So anyway, those people David, you don't have anything to worry about. And Fred, you don't have anything to worry about. But Wayne, what about you?
At 300 miles or 500 kilometres from the coast, I don't think we got anything to worry about here at the moment. Oh, the river gets motivated every now and again, and it'll flood the town. But we got levee banks.
Well, I got it, man. But I'm not saying this affects you, Wayne. And
No.
maybe not. I don't know. But if the shoe fits, you should wear this. But based on why you're not worried, is that they just announced today that daily marijuana use is outpacing daily drinking in the USA. More people are smoking marijuana than they are drinking. Now, How do you like them apples?
Well, I think I'm going to go have a beer to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have any thing to worry about because I don't get involved in that stuff.
You know who does really have a lot to worry about, because Fire Island and the Hamptons are not really well populated. Think about the entire state of Florida. That state is going underwater because the highest point in the state is 46 feet above sea level.
What about the Cayman Islands? Look at the freaking highest point of the Cayman Islands is the dump.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah,
I've been there too.
That's a crazy place.
Yeah, I bet. Where have I been? Where was I? Was I at the Caymans? I think I was. Grand Banks is in the Caymans, right?
No, there's Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brock.
All right. Where's Grand Banks?
Grand Banks is that's where all the guys go fishing, like off the East Coast, like off South Carolina.
Oh, no, then it's not it.
No, the Bahamas. The Bahamas have a place called Grand Bank also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is Vegas?
No, I'll tell you, I was there with you, David. We were there well, I don't believe it was the Bahamas. I believe it was Cayman Islands where we met the boat that Charo was on that cruise.
Yeah, that's true. But it wasn't called Grand Banks. It was Grand Cayman.
Oh, Grand Cayman. There you go. Grand Cayman. Actually, I have a good friend over there now that's a client. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I still think of him quite fondly. That's it. Quite fondly.
Yeah, so the highest point there is like 30 feet. So if it goes up 10 feet, everybody's going to be living on the dump.
Well, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat right here because I'm right on the coast. I'm 5 minutes from the water. But I don't see any tsunami signs here. Whereas when I lived in Rawai, there were tsunami signs everywhere, and yet they'd never had a tsunami. So I'm not sure why there's no tsunami signs here. Evidently, we must be high up. I just have no idea. But,
well, I have to apologize. I always thought the highest point in Florida was only 47 feet. But apparently, when you go to the northern part of the state and it becomes part of the mainland, it's 345 feet above sea level. Britton Hill. So, I mean, I know it's way up by Ocala, that area. And the whole southern part of Florida is really low. So if it goes up 10 feet, you're losing most of Florida.
Well, you're using South Bay, and that's where that I believe that that's the most populous part of the state is on the west coast, on the east coast of Florida, right?
Sure.
That whole where it goes down. So
from Miami to Boca Raton.
Yeah, you'd be losing that for sure. I mean, they're flooding already right now in the rains. So, I mean, hey, things are changing everywhere. I recommend everybody get a pontoon boat, one of those inflatable boats that you can keep at your house, just in case. You never know when you're going to need it.
There you go.
So is Vegas above sea level?
Yes, 700 feet.
Oh, yeah, it's up there quite high.
Yes. I mean, and we really don't have to worry about it too much because Death Valley is the lowest point in America. And it's right there, so all the water will just flow right into Death Valley. It's I don't have to worry. It's like a sink, or a bathtub. It'll just go right there. Not to worry.
And a nice warm bath at that. Yeah.
That's it. So, who else has got something to say? Before I do that, I just want to say R.I.P. Dabney Coleman passed away. And of course, he wasn't that, famous in his old age, but in his youth, he had that good movie 9 to 5 and a few other movies. But I remember him very distinctly in the movie 9 to 5, very funny guy. And then he was in Yellowstone, but I didn't even recognize his character when he went, because he just looked different than he did when he was young, just like all of us do, good character actor. So he passed away. May he rest in peace. All right. Who else got anything that they want to talk about? And other than that, then we'll say goodbye to the people on social media. Anybody?
Well, I would like to say something because
please.
I just had a tooth pulled this morning.
Congratulations.
And people were going, oh man, good luck. I hope all this empathy, sympathy about the pain and suffering and everything I'm going to go through. You can tell there's nothing odd about me. I barely have any pain. I'm ready now to take some more Advil because it's been 6 hours since I had it done. And if you got the right guy, it's not a big deal.
It's really not a big deal. When I first moved to Arizona, I went to a place to have my 2 wisdom teeth taken out. It took them almost 2 hours. They bled for weeks. I was on painkillers. They said, we're going to send you to a specialist. The next 2 I had him pull out. The guy shot me up with Novocaine, and I said, it takes a little while for Novocaine to work on me. And he goes, okay. And he goes and leaves. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and like, man, it's like 5 o'clock. Did somebody forget that I'm in this room? And he walks in, comes around behind me, pokes my cheek. I hear it go crunch, crunch, and within 10 seconds, both teeth were out. Never took any of the pain medication, never bled. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've had a couple taken out by this guy. I have never been aware of the tooth actually being pulled. I'm saying, is he done yet? And then I see stitching, putting the stitch in. I go, when did he do it? I mean, that's how good this guy is.
That's fantastic.
You pull my tooth.
I believe that it was what's Brian's last name right now? Oh, I got mental block. Brian Tracy. He talks about a story about a dentist where a guy has to have his tooth pulled, and he says to the dentist, "How much is it going to cost?" And the dentist says, "Well, it'll be $500." He said, "500? How long does it take?" And the dentist said, "Well, if you're worried about the time, I'll take as long as you like." So there you go. I have a friend. I have a very good friend. His name is Gary, and he needed his front tooth pulled out because basically he needed a root canal or an implant. So there's a difference of opinions as you get older. Most people say that an implant is better than a root canal because you won't need it again if you do the implant. The implant should last for the rest of your life, whereas the root canal could be 5-6 years. But then there's a theory that it's that doesn't work. But anyway, so he decided to get the implant, and it was his front tooth, and they pulled out his front tooth, and they packed it with the materials that they need to build it up so they could put in the implant, and then they ground his front tooth down and glued it back into his mouth, and it looks better than it did before he had the tooth pulled. And he had no pain whatsoever. Although they did tell him he should expect pain, he had no pain. Looks better now, and in a couple of months from now, he'll have a completely new tooth in his head. But it's amazing what they could do right now. Amazing what dentistry can do.
Yep.
So, all right. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Have a great week, all.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, goodbye
Great
to
week.
social media right now. Like I said, I'm not streaming on Facebook right now. So those people who would normally watch us on Facebook can't even get to my account, and there's no way to let them know what happened. It's just they're going to be denied. So that's the story. Wish me luck with that because it's out of my hands right now. It's all up to Facebook. If not, I'll probably just start another account and start again from scratch. And I think it might even be better to start again from scratch. Because I had so many people that I was following and so many people following me that really didn't make a difference to me one way or another. And I think we could build it back up really easy just by letting people know we have a new Facebook page. So there you go. Anyway, with that in mind, remember, you make it happen. This was our 209th meeting. Next week will be our 210th. Not that I'm good with math, but I can count by one. So there you go. Any last chance before we leave? Anybody?
No.
Once, twice. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, thanks for watching. Remember to give us a thumbs up on YouTube, because that's where we are on LinkedIn. And we'll post the podcast. It'll go everywhere as well, the audio version of this, because, we are just such good thinkers and we are intellectuals, and it's worth listening to again. What can I say? There you have it. Remember, you make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you again next week at the same time. Bye for now. And we are off the air.
What is that across the bottom of your screen?